It's warm in here. Lights make it warm.
Cool song, bro.
Yes.
Can you put her tail on? Because I found her tail.
What happened to her clothes?
We were gonna put them in a hot tub, so they have to be naked for the hot tub. And this girl is perfect with a tail. Yeah, because she's a mermaid. Yeah.
It's Ariel.
Mm-hmm. So she's a mermaid. So I'm gonna be Ariel.
Man, this is hard to put on.
She doesn't have to wear just her underwear on. It's supposed to go like this.
There we go. Cool. Can you close the door, please?
Yeah, and we lost her boobies.
I think she meant Ariel's shellfish top.
Life with kids.
Mandalorian? The bounty hunting is a strange profession. Pew pew! Baby Yoda, of course. I have spoken. What do you mean you listen to The Mandalorian on stupid little earbuds? Hello and welcome. My name is Elon Osborne and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about
Crazy eyes.
Movies, audio, and music. But more specifically, I like to watch and review.
Try again.
I don't like to watch because I'm not watching, I'm listening. I like to listen.
Almost there.
But more specifically, I like to review the movies and TV shows that you have come to love, but with a little bit of a twist. I listen to them on my smartphone, like an enhanced audiobook. Still confused? Checkity chick checkity chick check check. But in a nutshell,
unlock your phone. Go to a streaming platform like Netflix. Choose what you want to watch. Select the audio settings, tap on audio description, lock your phone, which temporarily stops the audio, then press play from your lock screen and voila!
I know what some of you are thinking. Wait, isn't audio description for like blind people? Yes, but this isn't me being insensitive. I know this feature is typically used by the visually impaired, but I'm not visually impaired, so I might miss some aspects of how this audio feature is typically used. Or I might miss some details of a show or a movie that just go in one ear and out the other. So I want this channel to be a kind and friendly community, visually impaired or not, where we can all come together and discuss the movies and TV shows that we love. So thanks for being here. Before we get into the bowels of the episode, let's give a shout out to the audio department of The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian being another story in the Star Wars universe, the post-production audio was done by Skywalker Sound. Oh, didn't see that coming.
Yes, you did, because you're a big nerd.
Just like in The Force Awakens, the supervising sound editor was David Accord, who is also known for Solo, A Star Wars Story, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Captain America: Winter Soldier, come on, and Star Trek: Into Darkness, just to name a few more. Once again, he has shown why he has been at the helm of any Star Wars story when it comes to the audio department. Except for episode 8, The Last Jedi. Interesting. So thanks, David. Much love. Let's get into the music. The music was done by Ludwig Göransson. Ludwig Göransson, yeah? Who seems to be the go-to composer for director Ryan Coogler since...
Donning a cape.
Who seems to be the go-to composer for director Ryan Coogler because Ludwig wrote the music for Creed 1 and 2, Black Panther, and Fruitvale Station, which were all directed by Ryan Coogler. To be honest, my first impression of the music for The Mandalorian actually wasn't that good. They were kind of heading in this new direction that involved a little bit more synth and just not entirely, oh, this is obviously Star Wars. It almost sounded like it was
Banshee. No. Earthquake. Tuba.
It sounded more like it was an orchestra on a budget kind of feel. But then again, it is on a budget because they weren't sure if this was going to be a hit or not. And there were some electronic elements that almost took me out of it because it was a little bit too off-based for my taste. But then I realized those exact electronic elements, one in particular kind of sounds like a synth chord that's been chopped up or gated, kind of rapid fire sounding. That same element can be heard in the
first
Dance battle.
That same element can be heard in the new 10-second Star Wars branding clip that plays before each episode of The Mandalorian. So honestly, instead of being like many Star Wars fans nowadays that pick the littlest thing to complain about and blow it up out of proportion, I thought, okay, this is the direction the new Star Wars is headed, and I might as well embrace it because it's not going to change just because of my opinion. So after that, I just kind of let The Mandalorian wash over me as a whole. The music, the dialogue, the story, and it was fun. But that's being a little bit nitpicky as far as the entire score is throughout the series. That theme music though, you gotta admit, it's really cool. Speaking of super cool, it's time to play.
On a scale of natural to robot, it sounded like this. Robot.
As more time passes, the sun sets on the horizon and leaves a pinkish-orange glow that silhouettes the two lonely figures on their journey. Wispy clouds blanket the sky over the Ugnaughts' isolated ranch.
Yeah, another one that's kind of robotic, kind of like Siri or Google Assistant. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. According to Jon Favreau himself, The Mandalorian takes place after...
Ewoks explode.
According to Jon Favreau himself, the events of The Mandalorian take place about 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So because the Empire has fallen, it seems like we're in the Wild West again. But take away the visual spectacle, take away the Mandalorian's shiny new Beskar armor, take away the adorable cuddly face of what the internet has christened Baby Yoda, and what are you left with? Another cool Star Wars story. Did I feel like the...
Yes.
Did I feel like the budget for this series was evident? Yes. The Skywalker Saga films that are released in theaters just have this added depth and breadth to the audio that I just didn't get in The Mandalorian. But that's to be expected when you're dealing with 8 episodes that were written and produced, I believe, within a year, compared to a full-length feature film that takes 2-3 years to develop and produce and all the post-production, etc. Although truth be told, it did feel like they spent most of their budget on the pilot episode and then also the last 2 episodes of the series, 7 and 8. Some of the episodes in between, like 4, 5, 6, seem to drag on a little bit, or just maybe filler just to move the plot along to get to episodes 7 and 8. Unlike the Skywalker films, the final mix in The Mandalorian just felt a little bit flatter. Explosions, creature sounds, laser blasts, it just didn't have that same impact that the Skywalker films do when listening to them on earbuds. And there were times where it felt like the music was a little bit quieter in the mix than it should have been. In some action scenes, the performance of the musicians seemed to be pretty intense, but the actual volume of the music seemed to lack a little bit. It just seemed like the music had more of a prominent presence in the films. So, would I recommend the...
Take 2.
Would I recommend The Mandalorian as an audio stream? Heck yeah. Like I said with my review of the Force Awakens.
Finally.
It's a great way to introduce really young kids to Star Wars without subjecting them to some questionable violence or things of that nature. And it's just another fantastic way to revisit The Mandalorian while at work or on the go, whatever. Honestly, it's especially handy for a series like this because you might not remember every single little detail, so going over it again through audio streaming might remind you about some parts like, oh yeah, I was a little fuzzy on that, but now I remember this went to this, went to this. So it's good that way too. With that being said, don't forget to check out my
stamp collection.
Don't forget to check out the Patreon page where I go over
knitting a scarf.
Don't forget to check out my Patreon page where I go over some highlights that jumped out at me when I was listening to The Mandalorian. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Be sure and leave a comment below, maybe give me a suggestion on something I can audio stream next. And if you haven't tried audio streaming a TV show or a movie yet,
oh geez.
Why not? Don't forget to say a friendly hello.
Hello?
Don't forget to say a friendly hello to somebody you know or don't know who is visually impaired. And of course, always keep listening.
I got merch. Link in description. I got Bandcamp. Link in description. I got a Patreon. Link in description. I got Etsy. Link in description. I got a kids book. Link in description. And don't forget, always be listening.